Hi guys. Sorry about my voice. I've got like a frog in my throat, which is also one reason why I'm on here because the energies are really high and um there's definitely a transformation going on. And apparently I need to speak my truth, hence why I got the frog because I'm not speaking my complete truth. I'm hiding it for fear of what other people will think, how they'll react to me, how life situations are what I think how they'll manifest, not necessarily how they actually will, and different things like that. So, bear with me. So it's like 8:13 in the morning right now. I got up, not feeling so good, uh, really low. I had to do a couple things yesterday that I did not want to do. I had to actually go and sell back my necklace, which I'm really depressed about because that necklace brought me a lot of joy. But right now I'm negative 75 in the hole because an order went through when I looked at it and I thought I had enough funds for it and I didn't. And it overdrafted my account yet again. And I don't understand why this keeps happening because of this stupid 3 day processing thing for Bank of America. And it's really frustrating me because now I definitely need to um, bookkeep, I guess, and balance my checkbooks and stuff, which I never really had to do because you just had to trust in technology that it would always be okay. But every time I look there, and what happened was basically on the 26th, the order went through. It's only a $53 order, whatever, that's fine. So it said, yeah, sure, it went through on my phone for the Bank of America app. So then I went to the grocery store to get groceries on the 29th. Okay, so then that was my fault for overdrawing my account on that one because the groceries were way too expensive for what I actually had and for the little amount of groceries I had. So that I own that. That was my own fault. I get that. See, part of it is taking your own responsibility. So I just figured it'd be like what happened last time when I was working when it was like negative 85 and then I'd wait for my paycheck to come in, whatever, and do it. Well, that I overdrew it, and I knew I overdrew it because then it said I had $7 left to pay, even though my card went through. So I'm like, okay, it wiped everything out of my account, and I know that when that happens, I'll get an overdraft fee. So I'm like, I don't want that because that's $35 on top of this. So I ended up going. A friend of mine, my grandmother, gave me $40 for groceries that I was going to use for gas that day. Well, when I took everything out of my account, then I'm like, okay, I don't want to overdraft fee. So I went and used that 40 and put it back in the bank in the ATM that's right there. So I'm like, okay, well, at least it'll cover an overdraft fee if that's what happens. So my balance will be at least zero or something like that. You know, I didn't know exactly how much I had overdrawn at that time because it was Sunday. So it didn't go through until the next day or whatever. But I knew it was about somewhere between 20 to 30, maybe $40 is what I was figuring. So I'm like, okay. So I put that in and I'm waiting, and the next day was Monday, this past Monday, and it looked fine, everything looked good. And then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'll have like a zero balance, or I think I was left with $19 in some sense. So I was like, yeah, it was left with $20, and then I moved 10 over to my savings because it split out my savings, like it killed my savings. So I put 10 back into my savings, so I'd have at least something in there. So I was left with like $19 and something. Okay, whatever. Well, and then I'm like, okay, I just won't. I'll eat what I have here. I won't do anything extend. I won't take the car anywhere. I won't do any of that stuff. And I thought, I'm good. Well, then on Tuesday, I got a notification in my email saying I'm overdrawn $75. And I'm thinking, what? What's going on here? So I went and I looked, and apparently my one order didn't actually process until Wednesday or Tuesday. Tuesday. It didn't process until actually the following day, Tuesday. So from the 26th, it didn't process through my account until Tuesday, the 30th. And I'm thinking that's ridiculous because by then I had already gone shopping and taken the money out, and then they used that 40 that I was in there plus the 19 that I thought I had for my $53 order, and then wiped me out and slammed me with another $35 fee for overdraft. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? So now I'm stuck waiting because I had to sell back my necklace and get those funds. Funny thing is, I go back over there yesterday to go and sell it back, and we tried doing it through the machine, and the machine was like, no, denied. And I thought, I have a burp that wants to come, but it doesn't want to. I thought it was because I was in the negative, and that's why I wouldn't refund my card. So I ended up going down to the bank to ask the people at the bank what was going on, and I checked it, and they said no, it shouldn't be anything to do with that, whatever. Walked back up, told her, and she's like, well, no, I don't think it's my computer, because my computer's usually fine. So we called the number on the back of my credit card, and they also said it's nothing there, it's registering my card, it's just on her end, or there's a connection issue with East Aurora, which I've heard of that kind of before, but he said on the phone it was extremely rare. Extremely rare. Like, they don't usually have a connection issue with credit cards or ATM cards or debit cards or whatever, you know, but it had to do with East Aurora specifically. Like, the server that these companies, through the Visa, the MasterCard, whatever you have, trying to go, and through whatever bank you have, trying to go to the server, the bank goes to the server, and then the server has to connect to, like, East Aurora or the town or whatever, and then that's the thing that's the problem. So her computer was working fine, Bank of America was working fine, but the connection to the mainframe in the middle was wrong. Which, when I was working at Dollar Tree, I had a couple issues like that too, but that was because it was a dead zone, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Spectrum is the cause of everything, because everything's usually run through Spectrum now, or if they're just trying to corrupt and get away with stuff and whatever. Or if they're fixing something, or if it's the weather. I mean, it could be a million different possibilities. Or it could just be people being like, it's not me, don't blame me, playing that whole blame game, blame the other person, and then pointing fingers. Anyway, so I left my card, she had my card number, she wrote it all down, we had done the transaction, she called her tech person. According to the tech person on their end, it went through 5 different times, because we said we put it through and she refunded the card, but it said denied on the display. So we kept doing it, you know, because the guy on the phone said, okay, wait 5-10 minutes and you can redo it, and if it doesn't go through, try it again, because there's a connectivity issue. So on her end, basically she refunded me a lot of money, like 4 or 5 times worth what it was. So we're joking, we have to make light of it somewhat. So we're joking, and she's like, if you get like a ton of money, don't use it. So at least that was kind of funny. But then we were also kind of freaked out a little bit, because it was like the necklace did not want me to refund it, like to send it back. And I've been avoiding trying to do this, you know, but I needed the money because at the time I had the money from taxes to use and get me that gift. But now finances, because of one thing or another, are being slammed on me, and now I have nothing. And I've been putting off a lot of stuff to do because I was trying to budget. And it just seems like, oddly enough, lately, since I've been living here, money's been going out the window, and it's like a vortex, and it's really freaking weird. And I was told, like I said the other time in my other video, that there's a negative vortex here, so it could be playing with that energy and all that, and the fact that these, whatever you want to call them, energies, negative beings, whatever, are trying to manipulate anybody who's living here and trying to get their vibration down so they can siphon their energy, like energy vampires in the physical realm. Or narcissists, or whatever you want to call them. So yeah, there's a lot of weird things going on, and so at first I came back here, and I'm like, okay, she's like, I'll just call you when it goes through or whatever. Wow, that van needs brakes. Or whatever it is, garbage can, I don't know. Anyway, so she's gonna call me. I checked it this morning. It's not 9 o'clock yet, so it might clear at 9 o'clock, but as of right now, it has not cleared, because she said it would probably clear, or at least be in my account, when they closed down their system yesterday at 6. And then she was wondering maybe it was because it's end of month type of a thing. But she was saying it was good because the lady who made the necklace, because she sold it for the lady, like a, I don't know, whatever. Basically, she gets paid at the end of the month. So this would help her, because if I'm returning it, then she wouldn't be falsely added to the money, you know, and given money which she eventually had to give back, or, you know, didn't have from me returning it. So that was, she's like, okay, this is good. So I'm like, okay, that's a sign from universe that this is the right move. And then we couldn't do anything, and it wasn't going through. So it was, it was just really weird. And she was getting freaked out. Like, she's like, oh my God, Jen, this is creepy. Because she's a spiritualist too, in a way. She knows about energy and all those, like, Buddhism teachings and things like that. And that crystals actually do have the power to realign your chakras and energy healing and all stuff like that. So she's all like, this is really creepy. She goes, I've never had this problem before. I've never had it where this system's gone down. And she's been there for 2 years now or more. You know, so it was kind of freaky and weird. So I didn't know, I mean, possibly, I know it activated me, so I'm like, she's like, could it be your energy that's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. So also what happened is that interview that I was supposed to have, I didn't have, because I was like, okay, the time came and the time went, and I was like, okay, this is weird, whatever, I guess something happened. So I said, while I'm walking up to return the necklace, I'll stop by and ask them. So on the way back, I stopped in and I asked, and they said that my phone, well, the lady called, and it went directly to voicemail, and she couldn't leave a voicemail or something. So I was like, that's weird. I mean, I know I've been getting a lot of spam messages, so maybe my phone blocked it. So I went on there, and I looked to see where it was blocked, and I have the number here, and that number, as far as I know, wasn't on there blocked, but at the time, it might have been because I had a number that came through that was a spam call that was at, like, 12:30 that got blocked, and she was supposed to call me at 1:30. So I don't know what happened there, because she said she called, so I don't know. So I went and set up another appointment with her, and I'm going to put this number in my phone to make sure it's good. So it's just very, very interesting what was going on yesterday. So I don't know 100% if it was the energy that's all around, if it was existential circumstances, or what. But right now, as of 1 at 9 o'clock, I will look to see if it actually went through. If it went through, then I will deal with it, and I will pay my TJ Maxx card, and I will pay my Bank of America with a little bit, or maybe I'll just completely pay off TJ Maxx and not have to deal with that. But I don't know. It's just kind of like, I don't know what I have and what I can't have. I'd like to pay off my TJ Maxx card completely, but I don't know, because if I do that, then come down 3 days from now or whatever, before I get that job with the interview, I might have to go and use the money to get gas to go to another interview. So I have to figure this stuff out. Instead of, like, because I'm the type that definitely is like, okay, I have this money, I'm going to go and throw it to that, and I'm going to pay off it or put a payment down on that to get it off of my back. And that's what's always been screwing with me lately, since I've been basically on my own. Because I'll get money in, and then they'll threaten to, you know, take it to collections or this, because I'm not paying and I don't have the physical funds. And when I was working full-time at the other job, I didn't have enough hours that they were guaranteeing me 40 hours, and I would not get 40 hours. I'd get maybe, depending on the week, 20 to 30, maybe 40, and then the one time I go over, they're like, no, we don't have the funds right now to pay overtime, so you guys have to leave. So I was forced to leave an hour early, you know, every, you know, day for a while there. So it was just kind of complicated, and I'm thinking, okay, this is the money I need to do this, and yet you guaranteed me 40 hours, and it's not getting there, and, you know, other problems as well. So it's just, everything is just kind of, like, thrown up, and, like, all the pieces are just falling where they may, and it's just kind of like a big jumble. And I never did actually get to play my video game yet, so I'm definitely going to do that, because I have a lot of pent-up energy and anger, and I don't want to keep it in here, because it's going to lower my emotions and mess with me, and I'm not going to feel good, and I know how I get when I get really low vibration. Actually, speaking of that, I had release on yesterday, and it wasn't really working too much. I mean, I was releasing stuff. Woo! Okay, I just did that. I looked in you, and I just went like that, and it went up my nose. That's funny. Sorry. This is Jasmine, by the way. maybe I needed jasmine more than I needed release yesterday. Jasmine's supposed to be good for anxiety and depression and all sorts of things like that. So it's really good with making sure that that's not in your home. I did an article about having the actual jasmine plant in your house or your apartment, and the flowers blooming would help with the smell and keep you from having anxiety and stuff. It was an article. I need to make a Facebook group where it's just all my findings, regardless of what I do, on holistic health and tendencies, and how there are scientific things that are proven for certain essential oils and holistic means that actually are proven to help people versus, toting this cures this or this cures that in the fake, out there thing. So I'm going to try to get that going and see what it is, because with my essential oils, I don't know if there's a clause in there or something about something. There shouldn't be, but I don't know. I'll look it up. Whatever. I just want you guys to know all the information about, the reality of what's going on. Sorry about me looking out there. There's people walking now because it's actually starting to get a little bit warmer, and they're all going to Charlie's for breakfast. I mean, that's another thing. When I had the money, before I went to the bank or before I had the other stuff, I ended up having enough, and the bank said that I had enough because I had $19 left to go to Charlie's for breakfast the one day. It was right before I was going to do something else, and I forgot where I was going or what I was doing. So I went to Charlie's for breakfast because I needed the eggs and the protein and all that stuff. So, in hindsight now, I shouldn't have gone, because that $20 for lunch I would still have, and it wouldn't be overdrawn however much it is, and it would have been, So, it's just weird because I'm like, okay, for one, this all started because I paid a full phone bill versus my significant other who didn't have the funds, so I had to front it. So I didn't have the extra $63 in my account to cover any of this other stuff that's going on. So what I do is I budget for the month, basically. I have 2 credit cards that I need to pay back. I have rent payment. I have gas, usually, that I need, and I have food. So that's basically a lot of how I figure it out. And I was figuring I need at least $1,000 or $2,000 a month in order to supply, because rent is $485. So I knew this might happen to some degree, because I know how I just go and it looks fine, and that's silly 3-day thing in the bank, which it used to be 24 hours, so you know exactly what you had to do or whatever then, which helped me a lot. This 3-day thing is screwing me all up, and it's been screwing me up since freaking January. So now, because even if it's on the weekend, it's not necessarily 3 days. It can go 5 days. So if it's like 3 days, like you do it on a Wednesday, it can go through Friday. But if you do it Friday, and then there's the weekend, then it's Monday, Tuesday, and it won't clear until Wednesday, possibly. So that's 5 days. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 days. So, I mean, you're like, it's not just 3 days. It's like, it depends on the weekend and stuff, and all these new policies that they're, putting in, it's just hindering the whole thing. And now I've paid ridiculously, before this one it was $70 in freaking overdraft fees since January so far, which is crap, because I've had one almost every single month, which is ridiculous at some point. So, I mean, it's just, and they don't tell you that this is happening either. They'll just be like, okay, it goes through, and then you're like, why is it still pending? And then you're like, okay, I have it, and it's pending, and it's fine, because you see on the other side that it's fine. And then something else goes 3 days later, and you don't think about what you have to do 3 days later because something comes up. Like, you have a flat tire, and you need a tire, and you're like, crap, I need to pay for this. Or, hey, you don't have any food, and you need food, so you have to go and get food. So, I mean, it's just starting to get ridiculous how these companies are starting to take all of our stuff and they're like, okay, well, it's not my fault, it's your fault, you needed to be more aware. Okay, I get that, I own my own responsibility, I shouldn't have spent so much on groceries or whatever, but I need to eat. I'd rather eat than, whatever, because before I ended up paying all my rent payments and my card payments before I was even getting food. And everybody's like, oh, you don't do that. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be slammed with, like, something saying they're going to go to collections. I got a letter saying that they were sending my Discover card to a lawyer. They're going to go and call me to court because I haven't been paying. Now, that's another thing. They're probably going to send me another thing this month saying something like that, too. So what I had to do 2 months ago is I had to give them $100 out of pocket, which I was planning to do for something else. And that's when I was working full-time. So, and then even when I was working full-time, it was just, like, too much money crunch. So, it's weird what's going on, and the fact that a lot of this is just off and weird. And it's just not... I mean, what was happening before is I had my Young Living business, okay? I had people on there, and people were loving the oils, and they were ordering. So, when they were ordering and they had their kit, whatever, I'd get a monthly check in the mail. Between all of them, I had 7 people... all together that were on my team, and I'd get a check for $75, $50 to $75. Every person that signed up, I ended up getting a check for $25 at least, a congratulatory check for that, and referral check, so to speak. And then if they signed somebody else up, they got $25, or if they signed up 2 people, they got $50. Same thing, and so. I had people on my thing that were constantly ordering and things like that. So I had that coming in. But I also had stuff going out, because in order to get that money coming in, like in all businesses, you have to invest. So I invested in the program, and the program is $50 to $100 depending on where you want to go every month. And then that's when you order your ER and you get your ER points, and then I accumulate my points and I got it. And then, couple years ago, or a year ago, I got free shipping. I paid for a year's free shipping, so that was cool too. But I'm saying, basically, I had these people in my group, and I had that extra funds, and that's what was actually helping me out when I was not living here. And in Elma, I was having an issue too, but that's when it started downfalling. So that was actually part of, if I got into a problem, I got laid off or something, I had that extra money coming in, so I didn't have to really worry about not having funds. Now, most of my people have fallen off, either because they weren't really interested in the oils in the beginning, and they just, wanted to, see what it was, and then they weren't serious about getting right with their health or using the oils, or someone they were with had a allergic reaction to, say, vanilla. And then another one, there was a bad falling out because the person was actually a giant manipulator, and she was a negative narcissist / what was the other? Energy vampire. And I didn't know this when we started, because it was all like, oh, yeah, we're best friends, we're everything good, and it was working out good, but I saw that they wanted the friendship to go their way, and it didn't, and then they got pissy, and they ended up cutting ties, which is fine. I don't blame them at all. They have work to do on their internal thing. They have a lot of work to do. At first, when the friendship first fell apart, I was really deeply wounded, because I have this issue with it being my fault and stuff because of my trauma. And I'm sorry this is going on like 25 minutes and stuff, but this needs to be said. And so after that, I was like, okay, I felt crappy, whatever. Time went by, saw her again at a restaurant. We started chatting up. I asked the universe what should happen, and then we started building up the relationship again. At this time, I was working full-time, so I didn't have time to do a bunch of stuff, and she was always the one saying, hey, let's go here, and hey, let's go here. And I'm never, if you know me, I've never been the one to, like, reach out and be like, hey, you want to go somewhere, or whatever. It's just not me. I feel I'm jaded, and I've had a history of doing, of not doing that, and I feel like if I do that, I'm bothering people. That's a thing I have to get over, I know. Sometimes on rare occasions I will. Depends. Normally I won't. So, anyways, she wanted me to reach out more and say, hey, let's go here, like, but I can't because of my food issues. Like, we tried a new place, and it was okay, but it gave me an issue. So, I am limited in what I can and cannot do. And she knew this. And she knew from the beginning when I was talking to her, hey, you can't do this. Like, I have another friend, and we talk, and, like, we haven't been talking in over a couple months, because she's busy, and I was busy. She's got her life, I got my life. But when we get back together, it's like, hey, sorry I haven't talked to you. Oh, no problem. It's fine. I understand. And it's mutual. It's fine. We're fine. And that's what a real friendship is. I have a couple of people like that. Even though we don't see each other, but we can talk, and it's like we're right back in high school again, and it's awesome. Whereas this other girl, she's like, no, and she had all this animosity towards me, and like, I have to be her. And before I was going up and I was helping her out, every time she had a mental breakdown or had an issue that, you know, she couldn't deal with, I was right there. I was helping her out. I took time away from my family and friends to go and help her out when she was threatening suicide or something like this, and I put my time in there, and then she's up there and she wipes it under the thing, and oh no, I'm fine, and she just wanted my attention. She wanted me to be who she wanted me to be, like, for her, and not be me, who I am. So anyways, I digress. There was a lot of drama, a lot of thing, and I actually forgave her for all that, and we started the friendship again, and then she decided that it was going the same way or whatever, and then blocked me and all craziness. So anyway, I learned that lesson, and I severed myself from that. And that's another person from who's getting off of my downline, and then just other people just kept falling off for one reason or another, which is fine. That's their thing. You know, if it's hard to make the payments, I get that. I'm there now. So I don't fault anybody for that, but I'm saying that is what I had, and this is the business. This is like, sometimes there's seasons where it's like going really good, and then seasons where everybody just like, no, I don't have that time because of something in the universe that has them doing their own thing. So I totally get that, but I'm saying this is why I can't figure out what's going on, and the fact that before I was able to make even, I didn't overdraft. Whereas now this is going on because I don't have that extra funds right now, and that's why I really want to work the business to get it out there, because that is my main thing, because that's the only thing I can rely on, really. Because that was the only thing that when I couldn't work, like when I had 95, I got laid off, that was in there. Excuse me, I'm getting upset. When I get upset now, I tend to not hyperventilate, but I get excited. Okay. Anyway, this video is going to go on 30 minutes. I'm so sorry. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to. You can stop. Most probably of you stop. But anyways, so yeah, that's why I'm working the business. That's why I'm being serious about this. I have gone to the events, put my money and time into the events, learned the stuff that I need to learn, and I'm just trying to reach out to everybody and say, you know what, it's crazy. There are energy systems in place. We'll have good seasons and we'll have bad seasons. Right now I'm in a fluctuation of a good to bad season. But eventually it will change up. Like the other day, I was hyper and excited about the interview and having the seasonal nursery thing on there. So it just fluctuates, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna get going. It's 8:40 now. Sorry about the long video. I'll upload it a little bit later. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. You can check my YouTube channel out on YouTube, Jennifer Lynn Hawley at YouTube. And I have my Facebook, which you guys all know, and I have my Instagram account. I have a Twitter too, but I never really use that one because I don't like that one. So check me out. I'm very thankful for anybody who subscribes to my videos or watches any of this stuff, because it's a lot of information I want to get out to you guys, and I appreciate you following me and listening and learning with me, and I'm being transparent, and I don't know, I'm just all right now. So anyways, I hope this is educational for you, and I hope you guys can relate to it. If you want to make anything, put anything in the comments or anything, feel free to do that there or on my YouTube channel. Either way, subscribe to my channel if you would like to. I would really appreciate that, and have a lovely day. I'm going to see what happens, and I will keep you guys updated. But I'm staying positive as much as I can. I am distracting myself from my own worry. Yesterday was bad. Like, yesterday, I I revolted back to old habits, and it was not good. So now I'm like, nope, don't do that. You know, I took 2 steps back, but you know what? I'm still stepping forward. So anyway, it's possible. You guys can do it. I know it's hard. All right, I'm going to get going. Love, light, and blessings. Namaste. Thank you, guys. Bye.